to read it's 21 already in 21. You can see it. Let's see. Will change his position. It's him right now. So we need to just, I mean, this guy, see, perhaps it's just hacker rate. Anyways, no. John. Oh, no, I forgot. I have Discord in my desk manager. No one allowed. I mean, I never know, right? Yep. No needs. What is whale? What's in here? Yeah, that's right. I haven't heard of video game drama this big since the whole Dream Minecraft speedrunning saga. What's happening with the Marvel Rivals $40,000 tournament situation is pretty bizarre. In a nutshell, there was a Marvel Rivals tournament with a $40,000 prize purse. There was a player by the name of Kingsman who really wanted to take this seriously, making a mention that this money would be very helpful to him as a college student. And the rest of the team didn't seem to take it all that seriously, and eventually when Kingsman was trying to, make changes to the team comp so they could better stand a chance at winning, they all attacked him, and eventually it led to him getting kicked from the tournament. His team then went on to place second to last in the tournament.
He dies. Okay, guys. Taste and point proven right now. Do you understand?
No, it's
well,
not.
You've been making me play circles. How do you not see the problem right now?
Wait, first of all, it's
Deadass Kingsman, like, shut the fuck up.
Okay, bro.
You're doing too much.
Lucy's not even on Invis. Second of all, you're getting value because
No. She shouldn't be dead.
Yes.
I'm getting value because I'm 1v6ing.
Hulk isn't peeling for you, bro. Yes, Zaza is 0-5, but we won the point, bro. Why? Because they were hard. Like, 4 people are dying here. That means four of their util, 4 of their resources are all spent on Zaza.
I saw this a couple days ago and I was so confused why anyone would be joining a tournament if they didn't actually care about winning at all. So he is very clearly trying his best to help the team win. And they were talking about like how toxic and annoying and insufferable.
Yeah, I had said about this. I don't wanna spoil. But he proved this.
He was, things like that, which eventually led to him getting kicked and being like disrespectful, that kind of thing. From all the clips I've seen, he never made any like personal attacks against anyone. He was never even like overbearing or like yelling and screaming. The closest he came was in this clip here where he's like, do you understand? Like, case in point, we should make a switch. This isn't working. Our widow is 0-5-0, which is a very fair point and a good suggestion because it clearly wasn't working. They may have won the point, but I think it's a large part because Kingsman put the team on his fucking back here. Like 18-2, he was kind of going Insano style. I don't know why this became such a huge issue for his teammates where they hated him so much for trying to win that they started insulting him after the fact. And that's where most of the drama stems from. Them refusing to switch is one thing that feels like it's kind of trolling and just intentionally throwing the tournament for the sake of vibes, which is weird because, again, just go play quick play or something. Why even bother going into a tournament if the goal isn't to try and win it? He made it clear he wanted to sweat because this would be very important money for him in his situation with college. Now, I also heard that when the tournament was put together, there wasn't an announcement about how much money was on the line. So I think maybe there was some confusion from the team where they wanted to just play for fun and sillies and goofies. And then once $40,000 was announced, they still had that mindset. Meanwhile, Kingsman really wanted a piece of that pie because it would be helpful to him. It'd be like $3,000, which is a significant amount of money, especially for someone in college where this could be very useful. So that clashed where he really wanted to win. His team, who they didn't give too much of a fuck. They didn't think it was that big of a deal. So he, throughout like their time playing together, would be making like suggestions and saying like, hey, there's going to be this in the tournament, there's going to be that, maybe we should look at this, maybe we should look at that. And I think they were just getting so annoyed that he was wanting to win so badly that they started to really resent him for it. It eventually led to like the bubbling over point where he got reported to the tournament organizer. They said a whole bunch of nasty stuff about him, and then it snowballed into what it is today, mainly because the team captain was so vocal about her disdain for this guy. She said things like, I'm pretty sure he spent all 20 years of his life inside playing video games, which is why he lacks social skills. You are also spending your time inside playing video games. You're a streamer. Why are you using that as an insult against him? I didn't really detect a lack of social skills throughout any of the footage I saw of them playing together. I guess you could make an argument that, maybe his attitude could grind your gears because he was offering like a lot of advice on potential team comps, and he did multiple times mention like, hey, the Black Widow's probably not going to work here. We've got to be mindful of like dive comps, that kind of thing. Would you be willing to try like Bucky perhaps? And they would always kind of like roll their eyes at him and be like, shut the fuck up. Like, there's a clip I saw where one of them was like, you've got to just drop this, drop this, drop this. That's enough. Stop making suggestions, basically, about, you know, switching. It's not happening. Look, which I think is a pretty hostile response to that, because this is coming from a place of him just trying to help the team win. I don't think he was being, like, necessarily overbearing with it or anything like that. He certainly wasn't really being aggressive about it. Like, he never got personal. He was never, like, insulting his teammates. He was never doing anything like that, from what I could tell. So I truly didn't see like a lack of social skills. I just saw someone who really wanted to win because there was a significant amount of money on the line. And if you're in a tournament, why would you not be trying to win? Team captain even made this statement saying, I don't want to win with someone who can't take no for an answer. Which is a certified stinky comment for sure. That's a big time PU moment right there for the Jumbotron. I don't know where that's even coming from. His suggestions weren't heeded. Okay? He didn't start, like, you know, stomping his feet and yelling and screaming and pissing and shitting about it either. He's just like, okay, alright, we'll do it. We'll run it, fuck it, we'll do it live. And when it didn't work, he did eventually say, like, look, told you so, can we please make this switch? And then still got attacked for it. I didn't see any examples of him not taking no for an answer. Like, yes, he did make a suggestion multiple times, like, would you be willing to try this? Would you be willing to maybe switch here? What about this? But that isn't not taking no for an answer. That is coming from someone who wants to win a fucking $40,000 tournament. He then continued to insult Kingsman and I guess anyone that was supporting him in her Discord, saying, yo, Kingsman cocksuckers, screenshot this. Y'all think I ain't seen the toxicity in the Kingsman Discord with not spreading hate from the mods and Kingsman community? Fire emoji. This one will really get your eyebrow in the air. So she's calling out the people that were supporting Kingsman, saying they're cocksuckers and how toxic they are. Meanwhile, she has been the most openly toxic, like vocally expressing her disdain for this guy and now like his community. And let's not get it twisted. I think it's pretty obvious. Most people have probably seen a lot of like really dog shit takes from people that are using this as just like a giant insult against all women who play video games. That is absolutely happening, and that shit sucks. Those are some fucking losers you can make fun of. Absolutely. But she, from what I can tell when this message was sent, was talking about like anyone that was expressing support for Kingsman, and I'm sure there probably were some like absolute greaseballs that went through and said some terrible things, sure. But to extend that to like anyone that was supporting Kingsman, calling them cocksuckers, I think is just kind of crazy. Especially considering she has by far been the most mean and nasty about this. Kingsman, from what I saw from the clips that were during this time, he tried to like actively say like, hey, don't go harass anyone and don't be mean. You know, it is what it is at the end of the day. Like, he was clearly upset about it, but I felt like he was doing, or at least making an effort to try and stop people from going and doing shit like that. She, on the other hand, was just openly attacking him.
Character? No, I know. Everyone thinks this guy's a loser.
Like a bug. That's just what happens.
That's such a good point. You're so right about that. And we're still gonna play Widow.
I need this for my college. I need this for my college. I have about 6 or 7 more years.
This is a clip I keep seeing spread around. That first clip is when he is explaining like why the Widow's not going to work, and they're like, oh, great point. Go fuck yourself, we're still playing Widow. That's all we're gonna do. We're here just for good vibes, good time, and I don't care if this money means something to you, because it doesn't to us. That second clip, that is not Cece, that is someone else named Lucy, whom has deleted this VOD, so I can't even find the full context here, but from the sound of things, she is insulting Kingsman because of him expressing the want of the $3,000 because it would be very helpful to him as a college student, so then she's like making fun of him, taking the piss, even threw in an absolutely revolting 6-7 meme reference that'll make your skin crawl about it. It's just very mean-spirited. There's also another clip of her talking about it, saying, like, even if you support Kingsman, like it's fucking Israel or something. I don't even know what she was trying to say with that one. I guess since I referenced it, I'll show you that clip too.
I have a genuine question. Like, seriously, answer this. Even if you support Kingsman, whatever, support Kingsman like it's fucking Israel. Anyways, whatever you have in your head, I have a genuine question.
I think everyone has a genuine question after seeing that segment there. I don't know why she would be saying something like that with this. Again, the whole VOD, from what I can tell, is no longer accessible, so I don't even know what the question she was about to ask is. But yeah, it's definitely not a good look, and she is very openly, like, making fun of Kingsman from what I can see in the clips that still exist of it. But this is not CC. This was not someone that played on Kingsman's team. I don't believe. All of this is only the tip of the iceberg, by the way. It gets so much deeper. There was a Google Doc that was put out there from the widow's boyfriend. The tournament organizer initially like doubled down saying, nope, I maintain my position here. He deserved to be kicked from this tournament. He violated all of our rules. And then today he came forward very somber, like, look, I know everyone's mad at me and they're right to be mad at me. I was wrong about everything. I looked at this misleading evidence. It was only from one side and it was incorrect. I acted too hastily. So now he's like singing a very different tune about how, you know, he's had this come to Jesus moment after seeing the other side of the story with Kingsman. It's very clear that he was manipulated by incorrect information. He shouldn't have kicked him from the tournament.
When they come in here, the people, when they come in here, when they hate, they're justified in what they're saying. They're absolutely right. They're absolutely right. 100%. No question about it. Like, there's no beating around the bush. I don't know why it's, like, difficult to admit when you're wrong and when you fucked up. I made a decision based off of haste and based off of misinformation, but everybody in the team knew what was going on. Everybody in this team knew what was going on, and the fact that nobody told me it was... That's whatever. It doesn't matter.
Also, Kaplunk, whom was the boyfriend in this story, is reaching out with an apology, saying that he went about it the wrong way and overstepped. Zaza, the widow, told him to leave it alone, but he couldn't control his impulses. The demon had to be let out of the cage. Thus, he went in and started sending clips to the tournament organizer to kick him, the Google Doc, all that kind of stuff. And then finally, CC, the team captain, the one who was by far the most openly hostile to Kingsman and anyone that was showing any level of support for him, came forward with an apology as well, saying, I'm sorry, I was going off the video and forgot to explicitly call this out. Earlier today, I woke up with 1,000 noties from the day before, and people had joined my server from Kingsman, having a panic attack, and I just started experiencing them. So in my freak out, I said Kingsman lacks social skills because he spends his time playing video games inside. I was angry and ended up lashing out at him instead of his community. I deeply regret it. I apologize for flinging another insult out. It shows I have terrible character, but I will be working on watching the words I say and getting help with my panic attacks. A community note even got hot dropped on here straight off the battle bus saying, even after the initial situation calmed down, CC continued to bully Kingsman and speak ill of him across social media. CC has a history of attacking other players and talking trash. So that apology didn't really go as smoothly as I think she was hoping it would. And interestingly enough, from what I can find, Kingsman throughout this entire thing has tried to urge people not to harass anyone that's been involved in it. You know, Zaza, her boyfriend, CC, anyone. He's been trying to like actively calm things down to the best of his ability, but this clearly blew up well beyond anyone's wildest expectations. And Kingsman actually was able to make over $3,000, which would have been his cut of the prize money should they have won the tournament, through subs and donations the last time he streamed, which I believe was last night. So a bit of a happy ending for Kingsman. Not exactly the smoothest sailing for his teammates that were bullying him, attacking him, and insulting him. That hasn't worked out super well so far. Anyway, that's really about it. So, yep. I know I've yapped a lot about Roblox, but oh well, I'm gonna keep doing it. It's one of the biggest platforms on the planet that's used predominantly by children, and it has a huge glaring issue that every single human being with a functioning frontal lobe on the planet can recognize, except for the company itself. Predators. For years, there have been innumerable cases of pedophiles utilizing that platform to prey on children, and Roblox Corp itself just doesn't do enough. It's been a huge criticism shared by tons and tons of people. And the CEO, Dave Buzuki, is so out of touch that he always like minimizes how big of a problem this is and instead will shift the focus to making Roblox a dating platform, which is so laughably tone deaf it would be comical if it wasn't so depraved and so degenerate. And that's not a joke. He is always talking and preaching the gospel about how he wants Roblox to be a dating platform, even in the midst of stories like what we're about to cover right now with kidnapping. Children being kidnapped from people they met through Roblox. There have been so many cases of predators using Roblox and going unpunished by Roblox, by the way. Some of these pedophiles that got arrested didn't even get banned on Roblox, by the way. It's just a huge issue that for some reason this company cannot recognize, and they just do not do enough to ensure the safety of the children that use their platform.
This Omaha native is in a Georgia jail tonight accused of abducting a pair of sisters.
Well, the young girls are home safe in Florida tonight. Deputies say a 19-year-old, Sarah Mulasse, met them.
Buzuki turning off my internet connection to in Roblox. I mean, really, it's like AI or something in it, and they perhaps listening to the browser. Like why? After I listen to the predators and another Roblox some news about Roblox that's happened. I mean, what? Yep, it's working. That is see you all later, right? Just a joke. Perhaps. I think something updating. Because I saw that continue form is disappeared, and we have the list wizard instead. Yeah, I could do that.
them on the online gaming platform Roblox.
How many times have you heard of stories just like this one? If you only had $1 for every time this happened, you'd be able to rival Dave Bazooki's multi-million-dollar salary. It is fucking disgusting how common this seems to be, and again, how hands-off Roblox seems to be with safety of its users. Like, they don't really appear to do a whole lot, even though they oftentimes try to flex, like, their new AI moderation tools and shit like that. It's clearly not working. Like, the best they do is maybe get tongue sahur to make a statement saying, hey, talking to strangers is bad. And they're like, well, we did all we could.
It started online. Martin County Sheriff John Butensieg telling us 2 young girls from Indiantown began talking with a man through the game Roblox.
From that gaming app, these girls were then moved from Roblox over to Snapchat.
This is the standard procedure here from the pedophile playbook. So in this case, Sarah Moulassé met the victims on Roblox and then got them to a different platform in order to chat further and groom them and then eventually kidnap them. Now, historically, Roblox likes to just put in this hard line in the sand like, well, off our platform, not our problem. Not on our plate, not anymore. Now you deal with that mess over there. Recent times, though, they've started to try and do a little bit more to stop that off-platform transition from happening from Roblox to Discord in a lot of cases. In this case, it was Snapchat. But again, they're clearly not doing enough, and I understand, and this is something I've said every time I've talked about this, that at Roblox's scale, where it's one of the biggest games in the world, millions and millions and millions of players every single day, I know how difficult it would be to moderate that and ensure this kind of thing is, like, impossible to happen. I get that. But it just feels like safety isn't an actual priority of this company. And it oftentimes feels like they're at odds with people on the platform that try and police it themselves, like notably with Schlepp, where, you know, I already talked about this, I won't just regurgitate the whole story, but there are people that actively try and get pedophiles arrested after, like, catching them on Roblox. And Roblox themselves has a huge problem calling them, like, vigilantes that they don't, you know, sign off on, and would rather they work collaboratively with Roblox. But the thing is, when people do try to work collaboratively with Roblox to catch bad people like this, Roblox does not give them the tools, the access, or the support in order to help them with those investigations or help them, like they don't actually take in the information to do anything on their own, which is why people like Schlepp or others that catch predators on Roblox take matters into their own hands. Or even like local law enforcement at times have stepped in and arrested these predators way before Roblox does. It just seems like Roblox isn't taking the issue seriously. It doesn't feel like they view it as this huge problem that it actually is.
Soon, gifts like food began showing up at the home.
All these things I just mentioned were indicative of what we believe to be a grooming process that the suspect was doing with these young girls.
The sheriff says her Moulassé was the man on the other side of the phone, but that changed on Saturday.
Our suspect left Omaha, Nebraska, and drove straight through, we believe, to Indiantown, arriving January 31st, Saturday.
This revolting freak drove like 23 straight hours to kidnap these children. So apparently they had been communicating for a little while. He was even sending like food to their house, apparently. Guess he was just like ordering them Domino's or something, fucking box of chocolates, whatever. Then it eventually culminated with him making that 23-hour drive down there. I guess he was probably practicing in some Roblox driving simulators or something to endure the long straight shot. So he got there, kidnapped these children, and drove off.
Soon came a 911 call from the family of the 12 and 15-year-old sisters. They were missing.
We were dealing with a type of abduction. I know these girls went willingly, but their age suggested that they had been taken and were probably being removed from our area.
Yes, it is still kidnapping, even if the victims went willingly. They are children. This was an adult that came there, picked them up, and took them away from their parents. That is a textbook case of kidnapping.
Several hours later, and officials in Georgia spotted the suspect's vehicle on I-75, finding the girls safely inside.
These are young, impressionable girls who might have thought this would just be something fun to do. But again, we're dealing with a grown man that drove all the way from another state, an individual they never met in person, picked them up, and we really don't know what he was going to do.
He's exactly right. this is a very scary situation here, and unfortunately one that seems to be not super unusual when it comes to this platform. Roblox has had many cases like this, and luckily they were able to find the vehicle and save the kids from this predator here, because who knows what could have happened, but it wouldn't have been good. This is fucking terrifying. It's every parent's worst nightmare, and it's something that has been happening on a platform, Roblox, which is told parents for years that it's a really safe place for their kids to be, but that's just not the reality of it.
KETV reached out to Roblox. The company says it's investigating this incident and will continue to strengthen protections to keep users safe.
Hollow words, same song and dance Roblox always says when something like this happens. Dave Bazooki notably hasn't made a statement because he's probably too busy trying to figure out a way of weaseling in a prediction market to Roblox to keep kids fucking gambling on there. Which is, by the way, is something he actually teased on a little segment where someone jokingly brought up prediction markets, and he's like, well, actually, that's a really good idea. So maybe that's Dave Bazooki's next priority, aside from making it a dating platform. Anyway, though, fact of the matter is, this keeps happening with Roblox, and it's fucking sickening. Anyway, just wanted to yap about it a little bit. That's it. See ya.
Mine is different.
Dave Baszucki. You know him as the CEO of Roblox. I know him as a weird urinal cake I can't help but pee on from time to time because everything that he has done as CEO is just so odd. He is the guy that has been fighting tooth and nail, making it what seems to be his life's mission to bring dating to Roblox, having a entire section of the Roblox business model carved out for dating. And initially it was supposed to be for 17 plus year olds. Dave, that's underage, which was a lesson he refused to learn. He had to eventually be dragged kicking and screaming into reality that 17-year-olds are minors. And despite everyone on the planet telling him how weird it was that he wanted adult content accessible to 17 plus instead of locking it behind 18 plus, which he was adamant about, he refused to budge an inch on that. He was just lat spreading, just saying no, until eventually, I guess, someone was able to break through his noodle up there to, you know, get the message through his thick skull. But everyone has also been saying how weird it is just conceptually to try and add adult content on Roblox to begin with. It is a platform used predominantly by children. Why do you want a dating service element of it? Why do you want adult content to even have a home on Roblox to begin with? Especially considering the reputation of Roblox as like a safe haven for predators at this point, where there are just so many issues with the way Roblox handles their predator problem. It's just a recipe for disaster, and everything Dave has done as CEO of Roblox is just fucking odd to me. And I think he himself is just creepy. I just watched a brand new interview with him that just kind of goes tits up here. He's unhinged. Like, he is actually off his gourd in the interview. I can't show you any clips from it, and just to set expectations, if you do watch it, which I recommend you do because it's fascinating, he's not like blowing a gasket or having a conniption, but he is like combative, defensive, and it seems like very upset about the interview, even though, according to this, Roblox was the one that pitched them on interviewing Dave Baszucki about child safety. Like, they didn't ambush him or anything, yet during the interview, it seems like he was fucking caught between a rock and a hard place. He was deer in the headlights for a lot of the questions they were asking. I don't know what he was expecting. Maybe he thought he'd go into the interview and both of them would be on their hands and knees just sucking his dick and fondling his balls, putting a finger in his ass for the G-spot tickling. Like, I don't know why he would be getting so mad when they were even the ones that were pushing for this interview in the first place. It's shocking. Let's take a peek at this moment here, which is transcribed. It's from the interview. It's probably the most heated moment from the interview. The interviewer is talking about manual safety versus an automated review process. And Dave Baszucki has a full-blown temper tantrum here. He gets red in the face, and then he starts trying to like talk over the interviewer who is trying to give his perspective. So he answers the question initially about like how he'd actually lean in harder, the shift would be constantly moving to higher quality, more accurate, more diligent systems. Can we review more? Can we do better? And then eventually just says, let's say we figure it out, and the way to do that is with better and better AI models. Would you pick that? The interviewer says, yeah. And Dave Baszucki says, good, so you're aligning with what we did. High five. The interviewer then tries to give more to his perspective on things, saying, but I've also been covering social networks, and Dave Baszucki chimes in instantly to try and shut it down by talking over him, saying, thank you for supporting our Roblox decision matrix. Again, the interviewer tries to squeak out more thoughts. Dave Baszucki is not having that. He is going to try and absorb all of the fucking air in this room to try and bury the interviewer's topic. He tries again, but I also remember 15 years ago when, and here's Dave Baszucki with the fucking sledgehammer from the top turnbuckle. He interrupts, I'm so glad you guys are aligned with the way we run Roblox. High five. This is literally the behavior of a child putting his fingers in his ear going, la 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 la, I can't hear you, I can't hear you. That is what Dave Baszucki is doing here. And once again, the interviewer tries again. Right, I also remember 15 years ago when Mark Zuckerberg was saying, and then Dave Baszucki, once again with the fucking RKO, is this a stealth interview where actually you love everything we're doing and you're here to stealthily support it? Watching this segment of the interview was extraordinarily uncomfortable. It was so awkward. It had me kind of squirming in my seat a little bit, listening to this imbecile start to get combative here and try and bully the interviewer into submission to try and like force camaraderie or something. Oh, so like high five, you support us. Hi, stop, shut the fuck up. High five, you support us. You like stealthily love everything we're doing. try and like force camaraderie or something. Oh, so like high five, you support us. Hi, stop, shut the fuck up. High five, you support us. You like stealthily love everything we're doing, am I right? Fist bump, put her here. You want me to sign you up for the Roblox dating service? I know. All right, I'll give you an account. It's fucking weird. This guy sucks. He is so creepy. And if you want further evidence of that, just look at the way that the interview starts. Dave Baszucki immediately just kind of goes mask off here when asked what he thinks about the problem of predators on Roblox. His response was, "We think of it not necessarily just as a problem, but an opportunity as well. How do we allow young people to build, communicate, and hang out together? How do we build the future of communication at the same time?" You couldn't script a worse answer. When asked about his perspective on the predator problem with his platform, he said he doesn't view it just as a problem, but an opportunity. What? Pardon? Say that again for the people in the back on the bleachers. What did you just say about the predators preying on children on your platform? You view it as an opportunity? What a remarkably stupid thing to say, but maybe he's being very honest. I have always got the impression, and many others, that Roblox doesn't take the predator problem very seriously. There has been nothing in Roblox's history that leads me to believe that they do as much as they possibly can to keep children safe on that platform. So maybe this is Dave Baszucki just going full goatsy here and letting us take a peek at the foul insides. That he just doesn't really care that much, and really, it's not just a problem to him, but a real opportunity. I think, and this is being very charitable, but I think, based on the way he continued in the interview right after that, what he was trying to get at is that he's viewing this as a big conundrum that they're trying to solve of how do you grow all of these tools with one of the biggest platforms on the planet while also trying to like moderate it. So then he was going into like the state-of-the-art tools they're working on, like the age estimation features and the AI moderation tools and stuff like that. So it seems like he's trying to say like he's viewing it as an opportunity to grow their safety measures, kind of. I'm kind of making a big, generous leap based on how he was saying things, but the way he paints it as like an opportunity is crazy to me, because this is a huge issue that has been festering in his platform for many, many years, with who knows how many countless victims, how many countless children have been preyed upon by predators on his platform, and they have just simply not done enough to keep them safe, and even at times actively made it harder for those predators to be held accountable. And instead of like recognizing just how big of a problem that is and how bad it's gotten, he instead says that it's not just necessarily a problem, but an opportunity. That is so fucking tone deaf and just a really weird sentiment to even try and be expressing here when asked that question. And the interviewers do continue to talk about this subject, and it really seems like Dave Baszucki was completely caught off guard with his fucking pants down here. So the interviewer goes on, yeah, I mean, you mentioned sort of kids leaving the platform, and it does become clear in those lawsuits that Roblox is kind of, you know, where predators go to find kids, but then they do try to, and Baszucki once again cuts in, well, I would say in the lawsuit or press, yes, I would categorically reject the actual description of what you're saying, but yes, what you might read in the news would portray it in that way, but and the interviewer interjects, you don't think you have a problem with predators on the platform? To which Baszucki says, I think we're doing an incredible job at innovating relative to the number of people on our platform and the hours, and really leaning into the future of how this is going to work. Now, I get being the CEO of this multi-billion-dollar corporation, you can't just go out in there and say, yep, tons of pedophiles, predators running rampant on the streets of Roblox. I know, it's gotten bad, but don't worry, we're doing our best to put out the fires. I know he can't just say that up front, but he's just kind of like outright denying the existence of how big this problem is. And if I was a parent of a child who played Roblox and I saw this interview, I am deleting their account this same afternoon. Like, this is a CEO that I have no faith in keeping children safe on the platform from these bad actors that are preying upon them on Roblox. This interview, like, it is such a disaster. I don't know how he or anyone on the Roblox team thought that this would be a good idea for them if he is this unprepared to handle real questions about a very legitimate problem with his platform. And what's crazy is he is just like comically delusional and creepy and scummy.
Like, not even just in the way he handles the questions about child safety on the platform, but one of the hosts here asked him a joke question about should there be a poly market for kids inside of Roblox, which is clearly in jest. Would you ever put a prediction market inside Roblox, like let kids bet with their Robux and say, I bet he's gonna steal a tung sahur. I know I've reached unk status at 31 years old. I have no fucking idea what that means. And then the other host chimes in, or I bet he's not gonna dress to impress. And Bazooki, upon hearing what is clearly to most sane people a joke of a question, actually talks about why he thinks that's a very good idea.
What the hell? I don't want to play Roblox anymore with this. Cause it's boring, to be honest. And I don't wanna. Although I try to, verify my age with the passport and an ID. Sort of bad though. No. I wanna play this. I have a lot of other games, right?
I think we would have to do that once again. I'll share some of the complexity. Every single country in the world has different legislation around loot boxes and kid gambling, and so we would have to be. It sounds very fun and obvious, like, I love that. That is his perspective on kid gambling, by the way. It sounds very fun and obvious. And then the interviewer chimes in saying, oh, to be clear, I think this is a horrible idea. And then there's laughter. I was just interested if you were thinking about it. And Bazooki says, well, I actually think it's a brilliant idea if it can be done in an educational way that's legal. And so imagine no free Robux, no free prizes, just a game called the Dress to Impress Predictor, where it's not like trying to get kids money or anything like that. I would be a big fan of it. And then the interviewer's, interesting. Yes, start them young. That's what I always say when it comes to gambling. You're never too young. This slimy worm is unironically
Please. Dennis, please. Yes, we here. I mean, that's it. I did what I wanted to do. That's it. Just want to say bye.